Welcome to the Continued Spotlight on Education presented by Neosho County Community College. I'm your host, Huntyr Schwegman, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in today as we put a spotlight on the news, upcoming events, and academic programs at NCCC. In today's episode, we will be highlighting the baseball team here at Neosho County Community College. I'm sitting here with the head coach of our baseball team, Steve Murry. Steve, how's it going today?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Steve, you've been here a while. People kind of know who you are, but for those who don't, I just want to give them a little bit of background, and this is just taken all from your coach's bio, so I'm sure this is all approved information from your end, but Steve's been with us. This is his 39th season. He's gone 1,207 and 799 in his 39 seasons as the head coach. He went to Grand Island High School before playing at Cloud Community College and before transferring to Fort Hays State. He was the Kansas Jayhawk Conference Coach of the Year in 2002, 2005, and 2016. The Panthers were Region 6 champs and World Series qualifiers in 2003, 2012, and 2013. Under his coaching, head coach Murry has had 59 players drafted to professional baseball. And he's joined on the coaching staff by assistant coaches Mike Gilner, who is entering his 12th season, and Dawson Ashmore, who enters his 3rd season, alongside volunteer assistant coach Ben Smith. So, Coach, after all those accomplishments and all that biography about you, is there anything else that people might not know about you or that you want to share with our listeners?
I'm a complete open book, so anything that you just said is factual, and, it's been a great 39 years.
Yeah, we'll take a look first at last season. You guys went 31-24 overall, including a 15-17 conference record. You guys had 17 academic All-Americans and 7 All-Kansas Jayhawk Conference players. So looking back on the 2024 season, how would you describe how that season went? What was kind of the storyline of last year? I
think a lot of it was we need sophomores to step up. Unfortunately, last year we had some guys that had some down years for them, but by the same token, we were very competitive in every game and what have you. We just didn't come out on top as much as we would have liked to.
And then looking ahead to this season, what are maybe some of your main goals and how do you plan to achieve those goals? Maybe especially in that vein of, like you said, achieving where you think your players can get to.
Well, it's kind of a weird situation. We have a lot of young freshman hitters, and I like them all. Going into the season, I'm very encouraged on what we could see, but then again, they've got to do it on the field. We may lack a little bit in pitching due to a few injuries that we had, but by the same token, I think we'll be able to defend it a little bit. So, we're enthused, and we'll see what the season brings.
Taking a look at this year's roster that you guys have posted, you bring back a total of 15 guys, including 10 different players who played significantly as freshmen. That's sophomores Jamin Beck, Reed Hanneberg, Cooper Hayden, Tommy Kelsey, Dallas Keyser, Baron Lynch, Jarrett Myers, Ryan Pesha, Gilbert Rodriguez, and Saban Seeger. Through all of the sports at the JUCO level, that turnover is a big deal and something that you guys deal with every year. So how is it important to have this number of guys coming back in order to keep your team culture and carry over maybe some of the successes that you had last year?
Well, our program's based on development of players where a lot of the teams, especially some of those at the very top, depend strictly on the transfer portal. We're not big into the transfer portal. We like to take the high school kid and develop him. So if you keep those kids, as they progress through their career, their second year obviously should be a better year than their first year. We use the first year as learning and the second year to show what you've learned. So, we're going to become very dependent on a lot of those guys.
You mentioned that the transfer portal has kind of changed some of the things of the JUCO landscape, and you mentioned that you don't necessarily use the portal. So what does a typical offseason of recruiting look like for you guys, and how did this last season kind of look for you?
We're looking for a kid that has good athletic ability. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and a kid that wants to work hard. So if we can bring those in as freshmen and get them some playing time, whether it be in a substantial role or a smaller role, let them learn as they go through it. All those kids that you just mentioned basically played some as freshmen, so they all should be ready to go. As far as the new kids we brought in, we went through an entire fall, so they've got that experience, but now they've got to put it on the line against somebody else, and that's where you determine if a kid's going to be good, great, or indifferent.
Let's move into talking a little bit about the pitching staff. Last year, you guys had quite a number of guys that pitched. A somewhat significant amount, about 10 different guys pitching in at least 9 different games. How, if at all, will that change this season?
It's not going to change. It's how deep can your starter go? And then you've got to become reliant upon relievers. And, I've seen games through my career that, was a 1-0 game, and then both starters came out in the 6th inning, and all of a sudden the score's 11-10. You got to rely on kids to do their job each and every day. And at 18 years old, kids aren't usually ready for that. They're not going to be as consistent. So you may be great today and tomorrow, and then all of a sudden you're not very good on Friday. So you've got to have other guys in the wings ready to go.
At Neosho County Community College, new classes are starting all the time. Neosho County Community College offers a wide variety of in-person, online, and hybrid courses in 16, 12, and 8-week formats. Don't have time to attend class during the day? We also offer evening classes to fit your schedule. From English and communications to nursing and career and tech ed programs, Neosho County Community College offers something for everyone. Contact advising at neosho.edu to enroll at Neosho County Community College today. Go Show!
You had a few guys coming back that pitched quite a bit last year, including sophomore Jarrett Myers, who put together a season with a whip of 1.42 in just over 70 innings. Cooper Hayden had a whip of 1.76 in 50 innings, and then Saban Seeger had a 1.57 across 22. What kind of things are you hoping to see out of these 3 guys this season?
Well, Saban and Jarrett will both be weekend starters for us. They'll be our 1 and our 2. And so we've got to rely heavily upon those 2. Cooper will come in and do some relief jobs, and he's a great competitor and he throws strikes, so we just have to defend it behind him. But as far as Saban goes, he should be a Division I pitcher when he leaves here. Jarrett Myers has a chance to be a Division I guy when he leaves here, so we're hoping for big springs out of both of them.
You lost some of your more productive hitters in the offseason, but you do bring back Gilbert Rodriguez, who finished with an average of 324, OPS of 933 with 5 home runs, 33 RBIs. Jamin Beck is also back with an average of 257, OPS 734, 5 home runs, and 32 RBIs last year. And Reed Hanneberg had an average of 242, OPS of 620, a home run, and 14 RBIs. What will you guys need to do to replace some of the other production that you lost, either through these 3 or some of the other guys coming up?
Well, I think all 3 of those kids will be better this year than they were last year. We're going to count on Jamin heavily to quarterback this team from the shortstop position, and we liked what we saw at all 3 of those guys. Reed should be our third baseman, Gilbert our second baseman, so we returned basically our infield. And then we feel like all those freshmen are going to scatter in and take over some of those other positions, and we're very excited with how they progress this fall.
And then just looking down the roster a little bit more, you guys are rostering 5 different players from within Neosho County Community College's service area. That is sophomore Dallas Keyser from Garnett, sophomore Logan Morton from Ottawa, freshman Trey Peters from St. Paul, and then freshman Rhett Smith and Larson Kester from Chanute. There's also a few other guys from just outside our service area that are playing here this year. But how important is it to have these guys on your team when it comes to building culture for the program, or just bringing with them fans who can attend games regularly?
I think you hit it on the nose. They're going to bring in fans automatically and interest from this area, yet some of those kids are going to have to play significant roles. Larson Custer will, play a lot for us as a hitter. Dallas Keyser is a team captain, so those guys need to step up in a big way. We also have some kids from Humboldt and Iola, which is just outside of our service area, that are going to play big roles for us. So, being a local kid, there's more interest locally, obviously, for those kids. By the same token, the culture that those kids all bring is huge, and we feel like our program is massive and culture-rich type kids, rather than have, a turd from, New York City or something. We're going to bring in a kid that understands the community and what our role is in the community as far as community service and what have you. And they're going to represent us very well.
For you guys to be successful this season and make a run in the postseason when it gets around, regional playoffs and things like that, what's going to be the key for you guys on both, the offensive side as well as the defensive side?
Staying healthy is going to be probably the biggest thing, because at Neosho, we've always believed in bringing in 32 to 34 kids, whereas other programs, and I won't name names, I know had 113 this fall. Another one had 79. Most of them sit around 50 or 60. So we've got to do it with the exact kids that we brought in. Offensively, we need to put the ball in play more than we did last year. Cut the strikeouts down. Pitching-wise, we need to get, better whips as far as walks and hits per innings pitched. Then defensively, we've got to pick it up. So when the ball's hit, we got to go get it and make plays. And if we do that kind of thing, we'll keep ourselves in every game.
I know you guys have plenty of, mottos or missions that you guys follow throughout the years that you've kind of picked up. But is there a particular identity or theme that you want this team to take on that they've kind of built themselves over the last few months?
The biggest thing is just compete. And, in today's society, that's become a big deal. Too many people, when the chips are down, they get way down, and we can't afford to do that. If the chips are down, we got to go get some more chips, and we've got to perform and compete on a daily basis. Whether you're up 10-0 or down 10-0, you got to play through the whistle, so to speak. And, that's getting harder to do in my 39 years because society as a whole is a little bit softer. So we've beat on these kids about compete. So hopefully that'll, take part this spring.
You mentioned it a little bit just a second ago about some of the community service things that you guys do, but how do you and the coaching staff approach player development off the field, including things like academics as well as community service? And are there any upcoming events, any community involvement, or any charity work that the team is involved in this season?
We basically do a ton of community service, anywhere from National Friendship Day, where we go to the senior living centers and deliver flowers, to Operation Soup Line, to Salvation Army ringing bells, to helping people move and all that. We try to do most of that in the fall when we have a little lighter schedule. We do have Operation Soup Line coming up on February 6th, which is the day before our first game. But all those missions are very important to help our kids become selfless people, meaning it doesn't benefit you, but it does benefit somebody else. And to watch the changeover of kids once they learn that the world doesn't revolve around them is kind of very satisfying, so to speak. So we try to do academic-wise, we check in to go to class every single day. So if I have you for 3 classes today, I get to see your smiling face 3 times while you check in before we even go to practice. So we ended last semester with a 3.455, which I believe was 4th in the country. So our kids have always done super well in the classroom. And I hate to say this, that's not because we always have smart kids. It's because kids finally understand that academics are extremely important. And when you only have 32 to 34 kids, you can ill afford to lose a kid academically. So we really push academics hard.
Well, Coach, I think that's everything that I had for you today. So I just wanted to thank you again for stopping in to talk to me, and I'd like to wish you good luck this season.
I appreciate you taking the time to have us, and we'd like to welcome anybody to our games. We have some special games included, like April 5th is our cancer awareness game, and then on April 19th is our autism awareness game, and we're going to hire a free cotton candy truck on the 19th, so we're going to try that out, support a local business, and if nothing else, we're very entertaining. It's fun. Come on out to the ballpark, and we'd enjoy seeing you there.
The Panthers open their season on Friday, February 7th when they travel to Ottawa to play a doubleheader against the Ottawa University Junior Varsity squad starting at 1 p.m. Kansas Jayhawk Conference play begins on Thursday, March 6th with a home doubleheader scheduled against the Highland Scotties at 1 p.m. Looking to take the next step in your education or career? Spring enrollment is now open at Neosho County Community College. Whether you're starting fresh or looking to transfer credits, we've got flexible options designed to fit your busy life. Affordable tuition, flexible class schedules, and over 40 academic programs are just a click away. Classes start January 21st, so visit neosho.edu/apply to secure your spot today. Again, that's neosho.edu/apply. See you this spring at Neosho County Community College. Go Show! While we're in the midst of our winter athletic season, preparing for the spring sports season with talking to head coach Steve Murry today for the baseball team, now we're going to take a look back at how the fall semester went for the Panthers. The Neosho County Community College Athletic Department had another substantially successful year, starting first with the men's soccer team. Men's soccer posted a record of 20 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties, with a conference record of 7 wins and just 1 tie. Head coach Elliot Chatterton was named the Kansas Jayhawk Conference Division II head
Coach of the Year, and the team finished as Kansas Jayhawk Conference champions for the second straight year. After a few significant wins in the postseason, the Panthers moved on to become Region 6 as well as Plains District champions. They moved on to the national championship where they won 2 matches before falling in the championship to Northeast Community College as the national runner-ups. Their only losses on the season were, of course, the championship team Northeast, but as well as the Iowa Lakes Community College team who finished 3rd in the tournament. The squad was led by first-team All-American and Kansas Jayhawk Conference Offensive Player of the Year freshman forward Callum Niven. He finished with 24 goals, good for 1st in the conference, and 9 assists, good for 3rd in the conference. He was also named to the national championship all-tournament team alongside sophomore defenseman Joe Taylor, who was a first-team All-American and Kansas Jayhawk Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He finished with 3 goals and a conference-high 19 assists. Also landing first-team Kansas Jayhawk Conference honors were sophomore forward Dylan Roberts, who finished with 13 goals and 7 assists. 13 goals was 2nd in the conference. Sophomore midfielder Asaf Silvera, first-team all-conference with 9 goals and 8 assists. Freshman midfielder Zach Ellenach had 2 goals and 11 assists, good for 2nd in the conference. Freshman defenseman Luke Butcher had 5 goals and an assist. Sophomore defenseman Tom Davenport finished with 8 goals, and sophomore goalkeeper Grant Thackeray finished with 110 saves to just 20 goals allowed on the season. As for the women's soccer team, they also found some pretty solid success, coming up just short of the national tournament after finishing in the semifinals of the Region 6 tournament. The women's soccer team finished with a record of 10 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie, with a conference record of 5 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. Landing first team on the Kansas Jayhawk Conference list was sophomore defenseman Aoi Kano, who was also named 3rd team All-American. She finished with 3 goals and 9 assists on the season. Leading the way for most of the season offensively was one of the rest of the first team all-conference players, sophomore midfielder Olivia Gibson. She finished with a team-high 20 goals as well as 3 assists. Also earning all-conference honors was sophomore wing Mia Ferroli, who finished with 3 goals and 10 assists, as well as sophomore defenseman Charlotte Taylor, who finished with 4 goals and 7 assists. Moving on to the Kansas Jayhawk Conference second team was freshman midfielder Sophia Haney. She had 2 goals and 5 assists. And then Jerusalem Rodriguez Gomez, the freshman midfielder, finished with 2 goals. Most of the goalkeeping this year was done by Bristle Entwistle, the sophomore, who had 77 saves against 18 goals allowed. Looking now at our cross-country squad, we'll take a look first at the women's team, who finished strong at the national championships, landing 25th overall and ranked in the top 25 all season long. The squad posted the best nationals time as well as the second best team 5K time in school history. The 4 top finishers for the squad finished top 13th all time in school records, led by freshman Wendy Comain, who finished 120th at the national tournament with a time of 20 minutes 50 seconds, good for 4th all time. Freshman Melanie Taraga finished in 128th place, a time of 21:02, which is 6th all time in the rankings. Freshman Barbara Garola came in 147th with a time of 21:39, good for 12th all time in Panther history. And sophomore Villarina Tulawaki finished in 148th with a time of 21:41, good for 13th overall. After that was sophomore Amy Stiles with a time of 23:28, freshman Michelle Gallo with a time of 24:15, and freshman Katsiana Kelsnick with a time of 24:28. The team would go on later that weekend to finish 17th overall in the half marathon national championships, which was good for second best all time in the team's history. On the men's side, they also put together their second fast team time in school history, coming in 27th place in the national championship. This squad was led by freshman Noah Laird, who finished in 125th place, a time of 27:07, which is good for 5th all time in the Panther rankings. Sophomore Tristan Hickman finished in 136th, a 7th best time of 27:20 in the men's 8K. Freshman Jaden Perry was after that in 157th place, a time of 27:52, good for 12th all time in the record books. After that, it was freshman Jeremiah Hughes with a time of 28:52, sophomore Hunter Hill with a time of 29:14, freshman Collins Melly with a time of 29:22, and freshman Oliver Cabana with a time of 29:23. The team would finish 25th overall in the half marathon national championship, good for second best all time in the school history. Rounding out the fall sports recap is the volleyball team, who finished the year with a record of 9-23 and a 5-5 Kansas Jayhawk Conference record.
Sophomore middleback Presley Hartz finished the year with 249 kills, 79 blocks, and 13 service aces. Freshman outside hitter Bailey Owens had 235 kills, 57 blocks, and 18 service aces. Freshman libero Jenna Monroe finished the year with 329 digs, 73 assists, and 26 service aces. Freshman setter Sarah Worley had 232 digs to go with a team-high 401 assists. Freshman setter Elle Craybaum had 397 assists to go with 96 digs and 20 blocks. Freshman outside hitter Jared Jamison had 171 kills, 148 digs, and 21 service aces. Sophomore outside hitter Haley White had 152 kills, 118 digs, and 25 service aces. Sophomore outside hitter McKenna Hammond had 145 digs, and freshman middle hitter Tessie Kuistra finished the year with 118 kills and 69 blocks. For news, scores, statistics, and schedules from all athletic teams, visit goneosho.com. That concludes this week's episode of the Continued Spotlight on Education presented by Neosho County Community College. My name is Huntyr Schwegman, and I'd like to thank you all again for tuning in today. Don't forget to come back next week as we highlight another amazing aspect of Neosho County Community College, and visit neosho.edu for more information and to enroll at NCCC. Go Show!